Hey everyone. One of the ways I like to learn how to do my eBay sports card reselling business is to see what other sellers are doing. And so I thought I'd make this video. This is going to be a compilation over the next, I don't know, few weeks, month or so of getting plain white envelope, or in this case, it happens to be brown cardstock, but eBay standard envelope. We're going to see how other sellers are packaging their eBay standard envelope sales, typically for single cards in my case, and I'm going to talk through what I like and don't like about them, and hopefully by the end I'll go over my shipping method and you can decide what is best for you. But starting off here, this one came in and you can see already not a plain white envelope. This is, I guess, uniquely kind of more of the cardstock variety. So I'm going to guess that this seller paid slightly higher for unit price for this envelope than what I pay for just a Walmart brand number 6 type envelope. This is a 4x6 size, so it fits their shipping label. They use the thermal label printer, it looks like. It might be an ink printer, I can't tell. But in any case, they have the peel off that adhesive on the back. And so from an opening standpoint, it takes a little bit of gusto to get this open. And you can see inside here, no added protection. It's here in an Ultra Pro card saver type thing. Semi-rigid, I guess, would be the brand agnostic name here. And you can see this card is in great condition. It arrives safe and sound. The seller put it in a team bag type holder, a little sleeve. And that probably proved to be a good idea because you can see already that this has started to slide out of its penny sleeve. Still safe. I have no issues with this at all. Now, one weakness, and I'll take the card out just so you can see, card's in great condition. But just thinking about business ops, the shipping method's great. I have no issue with that. But how do I know who sold this? Of course, I have to look in my purchases and then see who sold me this red one. I'm lucky that I only ordered just one of them, so I know exactly where it came from. But some type of identification would be helpful for some buyers to know who sold it in case they really liked what they got, or if they had an issue, they can reach out and kind of know right away. But that's it for the first envelope, and we'll keep these coming as the envelopes come in here in the month of July. And in today's mail, we have one more card. You can see the number 6 envelope. They used a thermal label, an adhesive label. One thing probably doesn't make a difference practically, but it looks like the image of the eBay standard envelope could be blown up to better fit the 4x6 size label, but that probably doesn't really matter from a tracking perspective. I don't know, maybe it does, but one thing that would be an easy switch in the printer settings. You can see a little bit of Scotch tape here just to keep, I suppose, this closed. I do like how they do it, and this is how I do it, where they use the label to cover the little flap here. So as opposed to putting it on this side, they kind of use the label as an additional security measure, safety measure against that flap. So let's go ahead and open it, see what's inside. We've been getting a lot of top loaders recently, so we'll see if someone finally ships in a semi-rigid. Pretty easy to open, at least to open that side, but looks like a little bit of a manila folder put in here. And so you can see they note the card here, so that might be used in the packaging process. Thank you for supporting my small business. Sure. Do we know who sent it? Let's see. A little bit of Scotch tape here. A lot of craftsmanship to get the manila folder cut. So very good from a safety perspective, but this probably took a few minutes to do for a really low dollar card. You can see here a semi-rigid. Don't recognize the brand. Let's see. Platinum Protectors. Haven't heard of that one, but nice protection there. And we have a mint condition card, the yellow parallel for 2025 Topps Heritage of Brent and Doyle. So no complaints from a safety perspective. Seller's probably spending a little bit more time than it's worth. It definitely adds protection, but probably unnecessarily so, where it's overly protected. So I'm happy as a buyer, but just thinking from the reseller mindset, a little bit over and above. In today's mail day, we have some interesting varieties starting out here with a number 10 envelope. You can see some tape used to tack both sides of this, so it looks like it. I don't think it's gummed. I think it's a peel and stick, but they're adding some extra security. You can see the thermal shipping label. A little tricky to pull this out. Not ideal, but nothing a little ripping can't relieve. And just a normal piece of printer paper, which is solid, cost-effective material. Like many of the others, really don't know who sent this just by the packaging, but inside we have a top-loaded and with a little team bag around it, Brent & Doyle Aqua Sparkle. So I swear against Scotch tape. This actually is a not terrible usage of it if you're going to use it. You can see it was used to connect the top loader to the paper so that it doesn't like shift around this way, which is pretty good. And I don't mind the Scotch tape here because it's actually connected to the team bag. And so the card, it's in great condition, sleeved, and real nice fresh top loader in there. That looks brand new. So I usually use lightly used top loaders or new ones if I have them, but I don't mind recycling stuff as we go. Next one, I mentioned there's good variety. This is the number 6 envelope. It's a peel and stick, and the old handwritten with a forever stamp. So the downside compared to eBay standard envelope is that there's no tracking on this. But if you trust the buyer, if you trust the seller, really a good option. No harm with it. And you can see here we got a creative little covering with some blue painter's tape. So this is getting into arts and crafts territory on the wrapping, but I guess it's kind of fun. It's recycling some comics or an advertisement or something. And much like most of the other orders, we're getting a top loader. You see the thin piece of painter's tape, so this one actually is real easy to remove, so that's clean. I can reuse this top loader. So the more you know, the plain white envelope stamp, the forever stamp, goes a long way. The downside, of course, is maybe a fraudulent buyer would claim that it never arrived, but real good option to do. This one is really intriguing to me. Why? Well, it's the first one we've seen where the eBay standard envelope label is actually printed directly with ink to the envelope, and that's a creative thing to do. It's if you have a printer. I do not have an ink printer, funny enough, but if you do, you can set up shop to just print directly to the envelope. So that's real nice, and it makes assembly that much easier. Here is the weird part to me. So you paid 69 cents for the 1 ounce label, and just to confirm, I guarantee you this is under 1 ounce. So you can see they're clocking in 0.67 ounces. So you already paid for that label, and then you're adding a stamp, which is actually slightly more than 69 cents if memory serves correct, and you're applying this sticker to say non-machinable. Then you're spending the time to highlight it. Postage of $142.69 plus stamp has been paid. Do not return. My hunch is that this seller has had some real bad luck with eBay standard envelope, and I've heard of this happening where certain post offices or even specific postal clerks may not know what this thing is, and so they will return these to the sender and request additional postage. Just for reference, I've sold thousands of these things, and I've only had that happen to me once where I've gotten it returned and it said like it wasn't thin or something. And trust me, it was within the requirements for eBay standard envelope. This seller, my guess is, has been burned enough to make these stickers and to justify putting a full additional stamp on here to not get them returned. Really ineffective from a cost perspective. My thought would be if this keeps happening, you should just go to another post office or try to lobby with the postal employees to not make that happen. Because let's say you're spending $1.40, 140 pennies, I was about to say, to ship this card. This card, I probably paid like $2. I mean, there's no way you're making any money after shipping this by doing it this way, because just this alone is looking at like $1.50 and materials and postage. So kind of odd, but we see the typical team bag and top loader approach card is in immaculate condition. Good day to be a Brenton Doyle fan. All right, last one. We're looking at the first specialty envelope we've got, and you can see this kind of cardboard mailer. It does have the $1.25, which is what's used for 3-ounce postage. This is clocking in at 1.23, so I think the seller is overpaying, although I know these thicker envelopes sometimes get a little bit more scrutiny. I believe these are specifically branded for trading cards. There are certain brands like Armalope or something like that, and therefore they're not very cost effective. But you can see they're very secure. I mean, this thing is all told fairly rigid for an envelope mailer, eBay standard envelope. All right, in here we go. We got an invoice. I'll go ahead and just block the address. Don't want to dox anyone. But we have the item number, returns not accepted, quantity 1, please contact me. In my opinion, printing an invoice, while it makes for decent protective material for this card to go around it, which is a beautiful Ezekiel Tovar gold refractor from 2025 Heritage, I think the invoice is a little bit overkill for a low dollar card. I do not personally spend time on that. You just think the printing, the folding, it just adds to the assembly process. So I don't personally do it, but not a bad thing to do. It does clearly tell me who sold me this card, so that's good. If I'm one of those buyers who will only give feedback if I know easily who it came from, I know exactly who this came from. But that's it for today. Some interesting ones, and we'll see what the next few holds. We've covered a good amount at this point. We're only a few days into July. One in the mail today. At this point, you're probably asking, is it Tovar or is it Doyle? We got our standard number 6 envelope. A lot of tape on this one. It's a printed out and cut out label. And so you can see opening this is a real chore. And that is kind of annoying for me because I don't like putting sharp objects next to my cards. You can see, look at this. Looks like a little hair got stuck in the tape. That has happened before, but some people, maybe something on that side too. Some people probably are turned off by that. I don't really care. This is like a $2 card, so kind of what I expect. Anyways, looks like I was successful with the sharp object coming in, and that's what it looked like. And a little origami action here. Is it a little paper dragon? No, it's a protective cover for a top-loaded card. Whoa, it's another envelope. This is a good way to double your supplies costs. 2 envelopes for the price of 1. I suppose it does do a good job protecting it, but if you want to be cost efficient, I don't recommend doing that. And for the folks at home who guessed Tovar, that is what today is. We got a blue refractor numbered to 150. You can see this tape here. You can use your fingernail and probably draw some blood in the process, but it's a good way to protect the card. And here we are, nice, clean, penny sleeve. Card is in awesome condition. Yesterday's mail, we got our number 6 envelope with the thermal shipping label. Off to a good start here in terms of what I prefer. Very easy to open. And here we go. We got a little light sheet of paper and a top-loaded card with the painter's tape. So this is just such a standard way to ship eBay standard envelope, and it does a really good job. So like with the other ones, still don't really know who this came from. And so that's why I love putting these types of stickers on mine. And I just drop these on. It's really easy to apply. I just cut these from a 4x6 label, but that way you know who it came from. I have this logo. Again, a lot of buyers don't leave feedback, but if you make it as easy as possible for them, they just might. So something to consider. But nice little silver sparkle refractor in that envelope. We got an interesting one today that we haven't seen yet. Here is an Armalope, which we have seen something similar, kind of this nice mailer, which is a little more rigid than a plain white envelope. You can see 3-ounce postage here. I'm just curious. I think this is 2 ounces. Yeah, there we go, just over 1, so that'd be typically a 2-ounce stamp. Could have saved, what, 28 cents or so. Here's what's interesting. this you can see the post office almost made an attempt for a non-machinable surcharge, and I have heard of this happening with this brand of envelope. And so typically they're going to process everything through a automated like sorting machine, and if you want it to be taken outside of that machine, you got to pay extra. And so it looks like somewhere along the line, this label was printed on June 27th. It showed up here today, July 11th. Somewhere along the line, someone said, "Hey, you're going to have to pay extra for non-machinable," and then I guess they gave up because they delivered it. And this is within the requirements, probably just barely. It's on the thicker side of things, but it might be not pass a rigidity test. Maybe it tried to go through the machine and it didn't. I don't know. Thankfully, I wasn't charged additional for it. These are pretty easy to open, but between the postage and just the cost of this mailer, I mean, this is probably like a $5 card. So it's just tough profit margins there with the mailer. You can see they do include the invoice, kind of the automated thing from eBay, so that's nice. I know who sold it, but again, for a $5 card, the packing slip is kind of a waste of time in my opinion, because I don't really care about the details. It's a $5 card, and we know that the eBay standard envelope is insured, so even if it gets lost, like, I get my money back and the seller can reimburse himself or herself. This here is kind of tedious. At least it's painter's tape, but you know, look at that effort, and it's even the tape's just sticking my hand trying to put it in the trash can down there. So let's see if I can slide it out. No, I can't. It's got even more. And so at this point, I got to take that off, and I got to do that. And okay, well, this is a nice touch. Look at this. I ordered this card. This is very well packaged, top loader. The painter's tape up top, it's large enough so that I should be able to remove it. No risk of damaging the card. And then, hey, look at this. I'm going to have a real nice top loader. It looks brand new, so I can reuse that. And this is just a nice touch, a Todd Helton and a Brenton Doyle card. So Helton, of course, a Rockies Hall of Famer and legend. Doyle, my favorite player. As you've been tracking along in this video, I got a lot of Doyle cards in the mail. So while I have this one already, what a nice gesture, a very personal touch. So that is a nice thing you can do. So no complaints. I do think the seller could save a little bit of money shipping slightly more economically, and this would get here the same. But a really nice card. Great to add this one. Only a print run of 50. So fun one to add to the collection. So now that you've seen how other people do it, I will show you how I do it very repeatably, low cost, and getting the card safely to buyers with this example, which I got to ship out today. So off screen, I'm going to go ahead and purchase my label on eBay. I'm going to start preparing the supplies. You need 2 4x6 index cards folded hot dog style. You need a number 6 envelope, as we've seen. I use the gummed envelopes as opposed to peel and stick because they are cheaper, more efficient from a cost perspective. And then I do this thing. I could always even make this process more efficient by buying some pre-sized labels, but I like the buyer to know who I am as the seller, and maybe, just maybe, it will lead to more feedback. So print that out. It's got my logo on it, which might be recognizable because it's the same one that I have on eBay. It has my email address in case they have any questions or issues or something. I don't think I've ever gotten an email. I've gotten a few actually, including this, but not many. So this is just more of a courtesy than anything. And you're going to take your hot dog folded index cards and put them like this. I use that backing from the sticker to add a little more security. You could probably just use painter's tape right here and it'd be fine. But I know that this has good aesthetics. It's like, hey, this seller took his time packaging this, so that's good. And then the other thing is they can reuse the card saver with very few issues possible. So then you fold it like this. It's not going to slide around in there. And even if it does, like, damage requests are pretty rare, especially for thinner cards like this. But you got insurance for that reason. So I'm just going to tack it with a little saliva. Yeah, I could pay for the peel and stick, but you know, it's like 2 cents this day and age for that versus 1 for the gummed, or 2 to 3. You know, basically a cent or 2 more for that. I'm going to pull this off screen so that I don't show the address of who's buying this, but it's good practice to put the label covering this lip. That's just added security there. And I'll show you the back, what that looks like. But you can see here, nicely covered. We'll go ahead and cover these addresses so I can show you what the front looks like. There we go. And this is ready for drop off at the post office, in the mailbox, etc. Oop, looks like caught some stray pin ink over there. That's no problem. But this is how I do it. It's very repeatable. I got a lot of things going on, microphone, video, etc. So I was taking this slow just to show you what happens, but this is my repeatable method, and it's pretty low cost. The buyer gets it and says, okay, this is packed well. I get a lot of feedback in that manner, and it's insured. And because I do free shipping, you get that full return in case of loss or damage. So anyways, hope you found this helpful. Hope you learned something in this video, seeing how other people do it, how I do it, and maybe this will just make your shipping and packaging method for eBay standard envelope a little bit quicker, a little bit cheaper, all for buyer satisfaction. Thanks for watching.